third volume, if you would mind. If you could.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, you were good.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order.
Keep down again.
I would like I would like to take time to take a few minutes. That's what I'm trying to find. I would like to call the meeting to order, get it started again. We're going to have the adoption of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, would someone move to accept?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. I'd like us to pause to seek guidance. Okay, and now I'm going to read the mission statement. To provide, promote, or facilitate municipal services that meet the community's needs while preserving, supporting, and enhancing quality of life for all. There is no presentations or delegations this evening, so could we have the approval of the minutes of April 25th, 2016? Is there any errors or admissions first?
So
Here.
moved.
Okay, is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Is there old business or business arising that anyone wants to bring forward? I'll start with David.
No.
George?
No. I was going to ask about the doctor thing. I saw in one of Linda's messages she had sent out about the position being moved to Digby, but I guess we got the letter.
Okay. Maritza?
No.
Jimmy?
No.
Okay. Next is new business. The first is a letter of support request from Jim and Tim Long. Yes. Tim is the assistant pastor or minister at the Digby Wesleyan Church. Just so I'll tell you where I know Tim from. I don't feel it's a conflict because he's a minister there. Okay.
I read the request, and I fully support it. There's a lack of this type of facility in our community, and so I'd like to make a motion that we write a letter of support on behalf of this request. Towards them getting their full complement.
Is there a seconder to that?
I'd love to second this, and I just liked it, but do I have
And it's funny. This past week when I was to the Mayor's Congress, Planning Mayor's Congress, it was brought up in Halifax where they used to have lots of boarding homes and places. They were all bulldozed down to bring in single-family homes and duplexes and that type of thing. And there's a great hue and cry that they need something very similar to what this is.
There's an article in the paper today exactly about that in Halifax.
Oh, okay.
The lack of low rental housing and time.
I haven't seen the paper today.
No.
Okay. Oh, David?
We definitely need this for sure. I wonder if they've been in any contact with the Dash people.
I doubt it.
That might be something, just for information purposes, might be worth their while. Would I suggest it to Dash, or they're in your area, right?
No, they live down the bay.
Okay. I just wonder if they should be put together or suggested one way or the other. We have a meeting coming up in a couple of weeks. I'll mention it to them in a couple of weeks when we have a Dash meeting.
Yep.
I'm sure that we get tons of information. I'm sure it would be readily transferable to their idea.
And I can get you his phone number.
Well, excellent. Just email me that, and I'll.
I just have to look on our church bulletin.
All right. No problem.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is the Digby and Area Health Services Charity Foundation donation. This is asking about the second annual Richard Ellis Memorial Golf Tournament, which will be held at the Pines on the 22nd. They're asking if we would sponsor a hole again. Jimmy?
I'll make a motion that we are a sponsor of a hole for this golf tournament. It's going for a good cause. It's for the Health Foundation. We're not putting a team in it, but it's going to, the cost of sponsoring one hole I don't think would be that great.
I don't know how much it was.
It was $100 or
it doesn't say,
$200.
does it? Yeah.
Last year I think it was $100 or $200. I'm not quite sure.
So are we gonna put an amount on it? Just in case.
Well, there's got to be
Yeah.
some type of an amount. I mean, I don't know what the cost is, but if it's $100 or $200, I would support it.
Okay, so we will go to a max.
A maximum of $200.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is the World Future City Summit. I received this as well as other wardens and mayors around the province. What they are saying, it's something they're trying to do with iCanada to encourage support of Canadian communities, large and small. They're saying that they would waive any registration for us to attend, but that does not waive a hotel, and it does not waive a flight. My question is, it sounded interesting, but do we want me to attend? It doesn't matter to me either way. I want to do what's best for the community. Jimmy?
I would say no at this time. I mean, we just...
We'll be going to the FCM.
We're going to the FCM, and you just started attending the Atlantic Mayors Conference.
Yes.
And Congress or whatever, and I think this, this probably duplicates what the FCM would do in the Atlantic Mayors Congress, so I'd have to say I wouldn't support it at this time.
I just brought it forward, just,
Yep.
so, actually, again, we talked about it at the Atlantic Mayors, some were going, some weren't. I had said to Reg Ritchie, who was there, that I didn't think I would be attending, but I was bringing it forth to council.
Yep.
And he didn't think he would be attending either, because he was like me, it was so close to the FCM.
Mhm.
So, I'm happy with that. Oh, sorry.
And my concern too is the cities in the title, because it could be geared more towards cities than rural, just like they do at a lot of times at FCM. They're more workshops for cities and rural areas. I'd say no at this time too.
I have no problem with that.
It does concern something though that's important about hooking people in and the internet, and it's definitely an issue that is really important around here. But if council feels that this would be dealt with at the USM.
Well, there is a thing on broadband there.
I saw that.
Can I speak? The FCM's played a pretty crucial role in broadband in Canada, and I think we're going to get farther with the FCM and with their advocacy of the federal government than what we would probably. I'm not saying this wouldn't be beneficial in that regard, but I think with what the FCM is doing, what the UNSM is doing, what the province just committed to
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry. Has anyone heard anything about that from the province?
Well, no, they've made a
Not yet.
commitment of over $6 million. So
Still waiting.
I think you have to wait to see what the program's going to be.
Okay.
But so I would think that those avenues are going to probably work for us.
Okay.
Okay. We will move on to the tax rate resolution for 2016-2017.
You want me to read it?
Yep.
Oh.
Be it resolved that pursuant to the authority contained in Section 72 of the Municipal Government Act, the Council of the Municipality of the District of Digby hereby adopts the Statement of Estimates in the amount of $8,038,031 as presented for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2017. Further be it resolved that a commercial rate pursuant to Section 72(6)(a) of the Municipal Government Act be established at $1.85 per $100 of assessment. A residential rate pursuant to Section 72(6)(b) of the Municipal Government Act be established at $1.30 per $100 of assessment. And further be it resolved that the following area rates pursuant to Section 75-2 be established for the provision of fire protection, street lighting, and sidewalk maintenance. With sidewalk maintenance, area rate of 4.5 cents per $100 of assessment for the Conway sidewalk and the Mount Pleasant sidewalk. For street lighting, an area rate of 4.07 cents per $100 assessments in the districts that have street lights, which are the Weymouth Falls light rate, the Bear River, Digby Neck, Barton, Cloden, Smiths Cove, and Weymouth North. And with fire protection, an area rate of 5 cents per $100 of assessment on Digby Neck, Freeport, Tiverton, Westport, Brighton, Barton, Plumpton, Bear River, and Digby, and a 10-cent area rate with the Weymouth Fire District, a 15-cent area rate with the Southfield Danvers Fire District, and I think I made a mistake, but it's the Smiths Cove Fire District is 6 cents. Further be it resolved that the municipality will bill and collect on behalf of the commissioners for the Village of Weymouth, Village of Tiverton, Village of Freeport, and the Village of Westport an amount as determined by each commission as duly convened meetings. Pursuant to the authority granted by the Municipal Government Act and Policy 2001, Municipal Tax Collection, the Municipal Council hereby sets the interest rate on overdue taxes at a rate of 15% per annum, and an interest rate of 10% per annum be established for overpayment on taxes due to assessment appeals. I so move.
Is there a seconder to that, please?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried.
I just wanted to say that the operating budget presentation is on the website for the public viewing.
It's very nice to see the results going back to the constituents in regards to the lights. Better for the environment, better for the pocketbook. Nice to see that work out as they intended.
Yes, when I was talking to the Department of Nova Scotia Power,
Yeah?
the Department of.
They don't like it. I'm guessing. No, let's
No, but they were saying that the new LED lights that are being put in now, have got the wider light.
Scope.
Yeah,
Yeah, the other ones are
Again-
really directories, were just one little
yeah.
spot.
Because they were to our meeting,
Okay.
and yeah, we got to talk with them as well, Nova Scotia Power. And I was telling him how we were cutting our light rate, and he said, you know, it should be.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Okay, when they start cutting them down.
All right, the next is the Digby and Area Lions Club. Now, that was an email that I sent out this weekend to you. They are asking if any of us know of anything or any place that they could go, because they are out of the mall at the end of this month, and they have no place to go. It was a great place for them with selling things and making money to support the community. And their concern is they aren't going to be able to support the community with events and costs. And does anyone get any ideas? The only thing that ran through my head, and I don't know, because this isn't ours, it's the town's, but the Heritage Center, that's not used. Yes?
Do they pay rent?
No, they paid for the lights and I think some heat, but they paid for the lights.
So,
They'd be,
the company that owns them all from Quebec is throwing them out to put offices in that space. So the broker discussed with whoever wrote the email, I forget, there's an area in the mall where Nova Scotia Community College left for expansion, but it's empty right now. And so he said, well, I can talk to them and see if they will let you have that piece. So he came back to them and said they would charge them $4 per foot, per square foot. Well, they can't afford that, so they're out.
Yes.
what about, is there any churches that have halls that may be able to help them in the community?
Well, it's a good point, but it's something that we can email back to them.
You've got the Acaciaville Church, there's a hall right there beside the church, right?
Yeah,
So that might be an option for them. They should talk to them,
Or even the United.
or what, yeah, but I mean, like,
I'm thinking if they're willing to help pay for the lights and heat.
well, but
you know.
yeah. So I think that's probably gonna be if especially when it's a charity type of thing, if they're gonna go into most spaces, the people that own the properties are gonna want rent. If you go to a commercial building. So, like, I would think that some of the church halls might work out for them.
Because
We'd want something in town, though, I would think, close, because that's where the traffic, the Heritage Center would be a great place.
well, I don't know if it's owned by the town, but I mean, it's not used very often, if ever.
But that would
Scallop
be,
Days,
and
but even the Scallop Days in there now. I don't know.
Wouldn't they be looking for a place that don't they leave their stuff in there? So if you
Yeah.
had like a church hall, it would be kind of
Yeah.
tricky to leave, set up your stuff and leave it there week after
yeah, they
week.
do leave it.
Yeah.
It's
You
too
guys
bad.
have been really helpful with classes for the poor, mobility issues. I've
Oh.
called them a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, they're
Got their
helpful.
They've helped me, not me personally, I mean, people in
Yeah, I know
town
what you mean.
before.
Yeah, they're one of
how
the
much
last.
how much space do they use?
Good organization.
Well, quite a bit, but
Okay. I'm just trying to think of other places, but no, it wouldn't work. It's not big enough. I was thinking about the building where the food bank was, if there was room in that building, but I wouldn't think there would be. It's probably not
where
big
the
enough.
food bank was.
Downtown.
Aren't they still there?
Yeah, but I didn't know they could cohabitate in the same building.
Oh, that's full.
But
The
that's full.
food bank is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And people aren't gonna wanna go up upstairs.
Okay. Well, I don't know of any other properties in the municipality that,
I couldn't think
That
of
would
any,
work for
but
them.
I wanted to bring it forward.
so,
And Heritage Building, a year or so ago, was being used by a few vendors on the weekends, wasn't it? There was
Yeah, there
somebody
was
there
sort of a
selling
garden, market.
fruit and vegetables
Yeah.
and
Well,
preserves.
that's what this is, I mean,
I
that's
know,
what they do.
but they're two separate.
Yeah.
Groups, right?
I don't think that there's anything in there now. I know the
I don't
group
know.
that
If, I
used to
don't
be
know
there
if those
aren't there.
people now use it or not.
Well, we can make the suggestion. I mean, it would have to be up to the town, I mean, but at least it's a building that would be available.
yeah, and just I don't know of other spaces, not around here that people would let them use for free, like
Yeah.
because I
I
don't
mean,
know
to
of
me,
any.
it makes sense if you've got a building that's not being rented, to have someone in it until you can rent it.
But we don't know what the town's intent is with that property. So,
Oh, yeah,
you
but
know,
no, I don't mean, I meant any building.
Yeah.
It would make sense if you had someone in there with heat and lights.
If it wasn't being used, I agree. Well, I'll tell you, there is one other building that I know of. It's not in the town, but if the request was coming from us from the county, down in Barton where the old garage was, that's vacant right now. That Kevin Ellis owns that building. You know where I mean?
Isn't she working out of there anymore?
Sherry?
Yeah.
No, she moved up to Annapolis.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Which building is that, Jim?
The old gas station there in Barton, right on the highway.
Across from North Range, South Range Road.
Yeah.
Right across.
Sherry Balser used to run her electrical
Repair.
Oh, yeah.
business out of there. So the building is vacant right now.
Oh.
Not very big, is it?
Well, it's quite big. It's a two-big garage.
Whenever I'm in there, there's so much junk in there.
So, but I'm only trying to think of what's out there that's vacant for properties, and I do know that one's empty. And
Well, it's, it's something we can send to them.
well, it's another suggestion.
I mean, we're not gonna say anything, but at least
No.
we can mention church halls just in case, but you made a valid point. Church halls are gonna need their halls.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe not for a day. You use them a day a week, but then you got to pack all your stuff up and take it, and bring it back, and set up.
Right.
It's a lot of work.
so we'll mention the halls just in case, and we will mention the place in Barton, and we will mention the Heritage Center to them, telling them they have to check with the town. We have no control over that.
That's right.
At least we gave some ideas. Okay. The next is meeting dates and reminders. Now, for May 30th, there's the Planning Advisory Committee, and that's been changed to 6:30. June 6th, there's no meeting. June 8th, there's the Joint Police Advisory. June 13th, Committee of the Whole. June 14th, the DDA. June 20th, Bylaw and Policy, and June 27th is Council. There's a summer meeting schedule that has been put on your desk here. July 4th, and this is a request for decision, would be no meeting. July the 11th, no meeting. July 18th, no meeting. July 25th, we'd have council. August 1st, we'd have no meeting. August 8th, we'd have committee of the whole. August 15th, no meeting. August 22nd, no meeting. August 29th, no meeting. August 5th, no meeting. And September 5th, no
It's
meeting.
on our computers.
September 12th, committee of the whole. Thanks. September 19th, bylaw and policy, and September 26th, council. How does the summer meeting schedule sound? And would someone like to move to approve it?
I'll move that we approve the summer schedule.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Thank you. Next is the action items, the updates. Is there any questions or concerns on the action items? Yes, Jimmy?
With the kiosk, the regional kiosk, or potential kiosk, I'd like to know if council would support, a letter going out and trying to get some type of a meeting with some of the other units to try to have a discussion on this, if it's an interest to them to go forward with it. Because right now it's in limbo.
Would that be a good thing to have on our regional meeting?
Yeah, okay, that would be a good
And it's
discussion.
supposed to be sometime in June. I've emailed Lyle again asking
Yeah.
the dates.
Okay,
It's coming.
yeah, all right,
What do you
it'd be
think?
good, that'd be good because, I want to start working on, I want to get to work on this for next year. And when I did meet with the people in Halifax from tourism regarding the tourist bureau down there, they were going to find out whether or not there's a potential ability to put something just outside their door, like on the outside part, if the Halifax Water Commission would allow that. And it would be a matter of finding out whether or not there was an interest even to do anything this year, even on a small scale, like, with, maybe some artists or some these stand-up things to try to promote the area. And so at that, we're having that meeting in June, so maybe that would be a good time. So,
Okay. So we'll put that on the agenda.
okay.
Is there any other action items anyone wants to bring forward? Council Committee of the Whole. Okay. There's the update on capital projects. Any questions or concerns? Update on special projects and initiatives.
I have one question.
Yes.
Regarding our capital budget, when will we be working on that? At the end of June?
At our next bylaw and policy, which is June 20th.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, I sort of jumped ahead on that decision for the direction summer, but anyway, I thought it was a good time. But I have approval of the April 26 payables in the amount of $903,613.94.
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
Okay, you would.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Income and expense report, April 2016 is unavailable, so we cannot do anything on that. Correspondence, information items, Bear River Community Greenhouse invitation. That is for May 28th, I believe it was. And anyone wants to attend. The Black Educators Association Spelling Bee. And the Data 2016 Award Dinner press release. Any questions? Okay, standing committees, bylaw and policy recommendations. Number 1, would someone like to read that?
I'll move that we accept the Queen Foundation as the PACE administrator to undertake a one-year pilot program at a cost of $1,900 to be shared between the municipality of the District of Digby, Town of Bridgewater, municipality of the District of Lunenburg, and the municipality of the District of Shelburne.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Number 2.
I'd like to make a motion that we set aside funds for the Jordantown Acaciaville Conway Betterment Association building project to a maximum of $120,000 over 3 years pending approval of the current level of funding request from the federal and provincial governments.
Is there a seconder?
I'll happily second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Number 3.
I'd like to make a motion that any funding to the Jordantown Acaciaville Conway Betterment Association would be used for capital costs only.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Number 4.
Make a motion to renew the current
No,
not renew the current contract with Can-Am Physician Recruitment due to the fact that the Nova Scotia Health Authority has moved the physician position from Weymouth to Digby.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? A press release has gone out today. It will be in our coastline as well. As
So
I
will
said,
it, will it
we're
be in the paper
disappointed.
tomorrow?
Pardon?
Will it be in tomorrow's paper?
Well, it went out. I don't know who
So
will
there's no
publish
guarantee,
what.
yeah, there's no guarantee it'll be in the
No,
paper
it's a
though.
press release.
No, I'm talking about like the daily paper. Chronicle Herald.
Okay.
Well, Chronicle Herald has called, and I have told them we're disappointed, but, yeah. Number 5.
I'd like to make a motion that we engage the services of Gordon McIntosh for a post-election council workshop.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
And I'd like to make a motion that we contribute $500 to support the Fort McMurray evacuees through the UNSM initiative.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. It is going through the Red Cross.
Good. I just, yeah, I just,
Action items.
There were no committee of the whole recommendations. The advisory committee reports. Digby Source Water Protection Advisory Committee.
We haven't met since the last meeting, but we'll be meeting in June.
Heritage Advisory Committee.
We're meeting this week. Haven't met since August.
Planning Advisory Committee. We are meeting on May 30th at 6:30. The Remo Advisory Committee, Warden Gregory, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
There hasn't been a meeting since the last council.
Western Regional Housing Authority, Richard Fitzgerald, there's been nothing.
You missed one.
still alive.
You missed one.
12.4.
Oh,
Well,
join
4.
RCMP Advisory Board, Warden Gregory, Counselor Adams. There is a meeting in June. Regional Joint Committees reports updates. Age Friendly Committee, Counselor Adams.
There hasn't been a meeting since last council.
Okay. The Atlantic Mayor's Congress, I attended this past week. Just want to get out my notes. It was actually, we started out the first day, we had a tour, and we did some touring of Lunenburg area and also with and Bridgewater. and I was very impressed. I've never been to the ovens. We got to go to the ovens. We got to go see their distillery. We got the opportunity to go to a farm that produces cranberries, and it's the one that is sold in Superstore, and they have the most cranberry juice in theirs. It was really, really interesting. And then from there, that night, the first night we met, and we had Nova Scotia Power in, who was talking about what was happening with the cutting on the side of the road, the clearing out. And it was funny, they came over. He said, before you say a word, it is happening.
Thinking.
He said,
No,
we knew
you
by
can
your
see
face you were going to say something.
What?
I said, well, they both knew me. Lisa was there and the one. Well, they were supposed to cut on the one, and they didn't get it done last year like they planned. So they thought they'd have it done by spring, but it will be done this year.
Yeah, they
so
say
they're now
that, yeah.
saying.
They keep telling us.
Anyway, they talked about the LE lighting and how much it was improving. It's just in the LE lighting area. From there, we went to meetings the next day, where we heard from the different things that were happening in the communities. What has been taking place in HRM, what has been taking place all over the province, and I got to speak as well, what's been happening in our area, green energy turbines, all that type of thing. We also talked about internet. That was on, and how each community we're still waiting on what's going to happen with the money and what the province is going to do. But it was there. We also, yes?
And what's the situation in New Brunswick, PEI, and Newfoundland? Are they having the same problems as we are with the rural areas?
Newfoundland is.
Newfoundland?
Newfoundland is. New Brunswick and PEI said they weren't that bad off.
Just wondering.
Yeah, especially PEI. I think, and his comment was, they're a smaller number of people,
Yeah.
and, yeah. We also had, I've got it in the other thing. We also, we went all day, and we never stopped listening. They brought different people in to see what could be done in all the provinces, how we would work together to make things better. We talked about amalgamation, and that's happening in this province. There's talk that they want to do something in PEI, nothing in Newfoundland, and nothing in New Brunswick.
Is New Brunswick set up similar to us with the?
They're different again. They have regionals.
Yeah, but New Brunswick also has a lot of the lands in New Brunswick is actually controlled by the provincial government. It's not controlled by municipal
Yeah.
government.
No,
It's a totally different governance structure. And in Newfoundland, they've got like over 200 municipalities. It's really tiny ones, and
They're not looking at doing anything yet.
well, anyway, and then with the Prince Edward Island,
They're looking at something
yeah, and that's good
because they have people that are not governed by anybody.
right. So
Really? I bet they pay their taxes to somebody though.
the provincial
To
government
the province.
to the province, same as in New Brunswick. It's the same thing over there. So the governance structure is different there than what it is here.
But they were taking back what was happening here to PEI. So that was discussed. I'm trying to think. We had from the federal government in to discuss what is happening, how monies can be dispersed, what's going on with the government. And they were really pleased that he was able to come down.
Did you get it?
We had what happened, the house was setting in the province, so we lost out on Zach Churchill coming and the Minister of Justice coming. You were supposed to come and speak and ask some questions, and the house went late and was starting early. So there was no choice. What were you going to ask me?
Did you get a chance to dig for artifacts at the old academy?
No.
Maybe up my alley.
Were we supposed to be?
I don't know, there's a big dig going on there on the weekend, there was an old fortress.
Well, they're talking that they think underneath the old academy
on the ground.
that it's like Citadel Hill,
Yeah.
but they've also spent millions of dollars on the old academy, so they don't think anything will happen to the old
But
academy.
they were excavating some of the lawn areas and
Yeah.
stuff, digging down and looking for foundations.
Yeah, they didn't take us in.
They didn't take
They
you.
just mentioned that. So,
Fun stuff, yeah.
we talked again on what municipalities can be doing to improve talking, to improve. It was very interesting. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on for 2.5 days, and it was nonstop. Or 2 days, I guess. It was a half a day on Friday and a full day on Thursday, and I don't know, another half day on the first day. As soon as the minutes come out, I will send them out. There was some other things that I don't have my paper that I want to bring forward, but I will bring up again as soon as I get it. And it's got to be in my other bag. But is there any other questions you have? I can tell you it was not a waste of time. It was really interesting, and it was a lot of rules there. It was good to see. Yes.
There must have been an interesting meeting where New Brunswick just had their elections, and you had some people there, like Brad Woodside, that
Yes,
got
we
defeated.
we
and
had the deputy mayor of Fredericton there, who was also leaving.
okay.
He came to discuss what was happening, which was interesting, and he said that in one municipality, everybody changed. There was none left.
None left.
Wow,
None left.
that's a lot of big change.
And we had the Fredericton was there, and it was their deputy, and he said he would, deputy mayor, and he said that he was gone. And, there was some changes, and that's why they came in. There was deputies there. There was some others that were not there from New Brunswick
Because of that.
because of the change. But we asked about Mayor Woodside, and we said, "Has any idea after all these years what happened?" And they said the only thing they could think of, he had said that he wasn't going to reoffer, and then he changed his mind and reoffered,
Oh, did he?
and they thought that had something to do with it. But whether it did or not, I don't know. But they said he was an excellent mayor and did a great job.
I
And
remember
he
his
was
election when I
well,
was in
and he was
university.
well liked,
I was in university when he got elected.
really.
Yep, I recall.
So, the FCM will not have a past president,
Oh, I know.
well, just for a very short while,
Yeah.
but anyway. All right. Our next is the Canada Legacy Society. You received our press release that was sent out, put on the web by Pat. Thank you, Pat, it was just gone. Is there any questions? We're still waiting to hear. There was a meeting, as you know, with with
Scott
our MP,
Scott Bryson?
Scott Bryson, and Colin Fraser was there, yes.
Is there still a delegation going to Ottawa?
No, we went to Scott Bryson's office instead.
Okay.
We worked it out to go there. We were all saying we'd rather, if we can do it here, we'd rather
It
do it here.
makes more sense because,
And they sent the delegation of 8 who went. And they said that Scott listened. He did say that, you know, there are other communities that could use the $1 million. But
He
it
didn't-
is Canada-wide. It's a Canada-wide project. It isn't just an Atlantic project.
yeah. Well, they looked upon the vignettes as being more of a regional project, did they not?
Yes,
Not a national project?
right.
But what kind of projects do they consider to be national in scope?
Well, we know that they gave money to the Symphony in Toronto, $7.8 million.
How does that benefit the rest of Canada?
They're going all over the.
Are they gonna go to each province?
I think so.
Well, yeah,
That's what I read, yeah. For 7.8 million, they better.
Yeah.
you know, there was some things like that, so we haven't figured it out.
Yeah. Didn't everything get changed when the government changed?
Yes.
On what the requirements were for
Yes.
funding? Okay.
Well, whether it was the requirements or just things changed with a different government.
Well,
I mean, the previous government was really happy, and they made the suggestions of what we should be looking at.
right, we met with the minister here in the room,
Yes.
and also our previous MP. He would have, I'm quite sure, informed us on which direction to go if the funding wasn't going to be available. So something had to have changed in that regard.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
and we brought that forward, too.
Yeah.
That we were told this. So there is no meeting scheduled or anything, we're just waiting now to see what
Waiting to
happens.
hear back. Okay.
The next is the Digby and Area Affordable Supporting Housing, Councillor Tudor, Councillor Adams.
I was unable to attend the meeting, but I gave my regrets and with short notice where I wasn't able to attend also.
Okay,
That was the beginning of the month.
It was quite short before.
okay. Digby Annapolis Development Corporation, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Councillor Tudor.
We haven't met since last council, but one thing we did discuss was that we're going to probably park the corporation, we're going to shelf it, so that we don't have the expenses that pertain to having a corporation in place. And so we haven't had a special meeting just to discuss that one issue, but by email, everybody on the board agreed to do that. So that'll be the direction that we take. We don't want to be incurring costs when we're not doing anything right now.
Okay.
But at the same time, we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. If there is opportunity in the future, we'll be able to unshelf it.
Okay.
So.
Digby Area Learning Association, Councillor Manzer.
Pretty well, things going on as normal as can be. They're presently, looking for new programs to bring in more revenue, try and offset what they've lost, but, everything's a go-ahead, so. Best they can.
Okay. Any questions? The next is the Digby Area Recreation Commission. Warden Gregory and Councillor Manzer, you have your April minutes and the May report. Can you tell us what happened at the meeting?
They're working on the leak at the pool,
Mm-hmm.
and they dug up one area where they thought it might be, and they did find a cracked pipe, piece of the walkway, like their cement blocks had settled down and had crushed the pipe, so they found that pretty easily. And they're also working on the leak at the wading pool. There's a leak there somewhere. It's not in the pool itself because it's now got water in it, holding water, so it's not in the pool itself. There's no cracks in the cement, so it's got to be in one of the pipes down below somewhere. So they were working on getting those corrected. Hiring summer staff. They've got probably as I think they got 2 more positions than they had last year as far as government funding. I think they had two more than what they had last year. So that's looking pretty good.
Okay.
I had a question.
Okay.
Do we have any information on the success of the crowing that took place here, like, and how that went with Derek?
They hadn't got final results yet, but Bob and Gene was the one who was dealing with the money, like recording the incomes and stuff,
Right.
and nothing to do with payments or anything. But from what the basics that she had, she thought there was going to be possibly a little bit of surplus.
Okay, that's
Oh,
good. So, and was there any follow up with the people to see how things went?
I'm not sure.
Yes, they were very pleased with the Bondsville. I was talking to Bob after it and Gene, but I was talking to Bob, and he was saying that they were talking about when are we coming again, and
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah. They even the sponsors were very happy.
That's good. So is there an opportunity maybe in a couple more years to have it again?
It would be another 5.
5 years?
It's about every 5.
Okay. All right.
Anything else? I wasn't to the meeting. I was away.
Oh, another plus side, I guess, would be the accommodation people. I guess were pretty happy with what they, the rooms and stuff they had rented out for that week period or whatever, which would have normally been flat. And there would have been nothing here, so I think they were pretty pleased with what they got in.
Yeah, I heard the bed and breakfasts, and
Yeah.
it was a lot they filled out.
I think there is going to be an economic impact study done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, yeah.
Yeah, I think Bob said he had sent that information away to the people that do the analysis and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The next is Digby Area Tourism Association, Councilor Manzer. 2015 AGM minutes, April 2016 minutes.
Yeah, they've, since our last meeting, I guess they've had their saltscapes, which was very, very successful, a lot of people coming through. And they've also submitted their application for the initiative where they're going to do the filming and whatever of the different areas and different events and stuff in Digby. They hadn't gotten any word back on it yet, how much they will get, but I think they had $20,000 to put in, so and the government was supposed to match whatever they put in now. They may not get that much because of however many applications there were, so but they did have 20,000, maximum of 20,000 put in.
Which was good.
Yeah.
Who's the new president?
Greg Turner. I don't know if
He was acting, wasn't he?
he was vice
I
chair.
think he is
acting.
now the chair,
Yes,
isn't
he
he?
could be. I couldn't make it to the AGM,
Oh.
but I made it to the meeting last week. But
Someone told me he was now the chair.
I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the chair position last week. So. Yeah.
Digby Development Agency, Warden Gregory, Deputy Warden McAlpine. There's the April minutes and the Design Point final report.
Yeah, we met on May the 3rd. And Design Point submitted their final report on the work they did for us in the industrial park with the potential development of the lands there. So, and after they did their report to the committee just had further discussion on the direction they want to go with the development of the lands. So we haven't finalized anything yet. So when we do, we'll bring it back here.
Okay. The next is the Digby Harbor Port Association. I, again, was at the Mayor's Congress, so I did not go to this as well. The April minutes are there. The April 2015 AGM minutes are there. But I was told today at our policy meeting that Reg Hazelton has stepped down as chair, and Vance Hazelton is now the new chair. The vice chair will be picked at our next meeting in June. So we'll see who wants to be vice chair. They are not going to be doing the dredging, the stick dredging that they had planned. They are now looking at doing a, should I give it the amount? Okay, they're now, that's what I was wondering if that was sort of in camera. They are now looking at a different project on expansion and doing dredging, so I was just gave the highlights today.
With the potential expansion, like right now, I know that the facility is full. What do they feel that the needs would be for?
Well, they need to expand.
I know, but like, do they?
And not only for the number,
Yeah.
but for the size of the vessel. So what would have fit 50 vessels before are now like 30 vessels, because the size has gone from 15 wide to 30 wide.
Right. Okay. So, but like, it's not just then on the number
No,
of
no,
boats;
they're-
it's the
they're
size
looking
of
at-
the boats
yeah,
as well.
they're looking at more than that.
All right.
They're looking at how to develop and make the war safer, better,
I
and
just
expand.
was wondering if they had determined how many boats they've turned away, type of thing, that because they don't have room for
They
them.
have not turned them away. They have managed, maybe you've been out, and while you're out, she's in, and then you come back and she's out, so she still can stay at a different, it was that kind of moving around. to
Okay.
keep extra people
Managing the space.
managing, but it was very difficult.
Okay.
Because there's just too many, everyone knows we have too many boats for the area for at least 3 months of the year.
Okay.
At least, that's the minimum. The next is the Digby Library Committee.
There hasn't been a meeting, but I want to put another plug in for an adopt-a-book. I don't know if you've done it yet or not, but okay, David.
Oh, shame.
I just want to keep reinforcing the need, and hopefully you would go to the library and adopt a book
When does it finish?
In advance.
in June. I forget the date, but it was from April to June.
Okay, the next is the Digby Municipal Fire Association.
No meeting since the last one.
Oh, okay. Highway 101 Task Force, Warden Gregory, Counselor Adams, we have had no meeting. King's Transit Authority, you have the February minutes, the General Manager's March, April report, the ridership report, the April newsletter, and a newsletter just came while we were here. Just want to see if there's any highlights we need to know. The meeting is tomorrow night, and I will be here. And the newsletter is not here, just shows pictures. There's a newsletter. I just opened it because it just came in. So I can't give you any news from the new newsletter unless you want to see a picture of a highway.
You scroll down.
Is
Yeah, I
it
did.
a highway nearby? Let's look at it.
Dave Tudor, check on
Hitchhike.
Nothing. So anyway, all I can tell you is, in the newsletter, maybe that's a bus coming. But that's our newsletter.
Right on.
I don't think I'll send it out to you guys.
No news is good news.
Well, we'll see. Okay, the next, any questions on King's Transit?
Just the ridership report is on the web, and I noticed for February that we are up from last year's February 2015 for February 2016. We're up about almost 8%. Our revenues are down for the year, but I see the ridership was up in February, so that's a good sign.
It can be, should be. The next is
Oh.
open spaces, Counselor Manzer and Tudor.
For a couple of minutes, while we're on King's Transit,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
July 1st, has it been arranged for the bus to travel, like July 1st?
Haven't made any arrangements for that yet. I can reach out to them. trouble is they don't normally run,
I know, like
So
last
they
year they
have
didn't
to-
either. We had paid the extra for the bus driver.
and
or
just to
whatever.
get one of the one of the drivers
Yeah.
Agree.
to agree to
Yeah,
work.
to work on.
Yeah, so I can.
Thank you.
Good point. See if we can get it going. Open spaces, Counselor Manzer and Tudor.
We haven't had any meetings since last month, or since last council meeting. We're due for one.
Okay. The next is Senior Safety Committee, Counselor Tudor, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
We have a meeting tomorrow at 2.
Yeah, AGM.
Okay. Shared Services Committee, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Counselors Adams and Tudor.
No meeting.
Transport declared, Counselor Manzer.
No, I guess just business pretty well as usual, only last Saturday they had a retirement and a 20th anniversary for Transport Declared, a retirement for Clarendon. And it was nice to see a number of the councillors there, and, but, so, thank you for taking the time to show up, and it was good.
And we were the first to give him a gift.
You were,
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember the speeches.
There was lots and lots of speeches.
Yeah,
And,
but at least they
yeah,
were
yeah.
3 or 4 minutes, they weren't overly long, they were.
Even he wasn't long, they thought he would go
Yeah,
on and on.
he can go on and on, he can,
I think he was very emotional,
he
so.
can be
we
very,
just-
It
very
was-
long-winded.
It was very,
Sure.
very nice.
Yeah.
He'll be missed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he was the heart and soul, and like, it was his vision that started that 20 years ago, and he just kind of gave his time to it. He never took a salary for 20 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a real nice story, actually.
Yeah.
Diane Young, I heard, gave a good speech, someone told me.
Yes, she did.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it was all well done, I think. And the people that came with her from the island all stood up.
Yeah. People came from the island.
I was early in and out. I had kids with me. It wasn't the neighborhood, I thought for sure.
Yeah, it was really nice. The next is Tyview Terrace, Counselor Manzer, March minutes.
No new changes or big news events, just carrying on as usual. Nothing major.
Okay. Upper Clemens Park Society, Counselor Adams, March minutes and April minutes are here.
We had a meeting last Thursday, just an update on the ACOA projects. The campground washrooms are almost completed. The liner on the flume, where they thought they'd have another 3 days' work, they put a new liner on compared to the other one. This one is a heavy-duty plastic as opposed to a rubber that was glued onto the cement. So, but it's been a lot of extra work that they weren't expecting, so a lot of, besides the crew that came in to do it, there were 5 of the Upper Clemens workers that also had to pitch in. They have set into motion an emergency planning update for us to make sure that there's anything that happens, like a lost child or someone that's there that shouldn't be there, any of those things, they have it all figured out with the RCMP. The RCMP was very impressed. They said simple, and that's the way they like it, simple. So the campground hopefully will be opening soon. They open on June the 15th, and their numbers for student days, school days is up from last year, and they still have 2 or 3 weeks before final numbers were in. The first day they're going to have 15 busloads of students come, so
Wow.
it's going to be
Good.
very, very busy very quickly.
Good.
Just to let you know that the camp, what used to be the picnic park just before the camp, we actually own that. The Upper Clemens Park Society owns it, and not the province. And they're looking at making it into a concert venue,
Well, that's
and possible to hold 35,000 people. So just between you and us right now, but it's a natural, it's a natural
The
slope.
speakers.
So it would be easy to kind of work some
that sounds
landscaping
good.
and stuff so that there would be seats. And they actually have somebody in Truro interested, so they may start work on it sooner than later. They're looking at it for a couple of years down the road, but they may actually start working sooner if they have people who are interested in having concerts there. Thought that was kind of neat.
And this year, they've decided not to have a charge for you just to go in and look around?
Yeah, there's no admission fee. They're hoping that you will spend money on the restaurants or the stores or whatever. Yeah, so it's.
There's no
it
admission
should-
fee period for the entire park?
Right, well, if you wanna go and
If you wanna
ride,
buy a
Yeah.
bracelet, you still have to do that.
Ah,
But if
that's
you
good.
just wanna
Okay,
go
okay.
in,
You just wanna
and,
take your
like
kids and let them
for
all-
seniors, they might just wanna go in and walk around a little bit. They don't wanna necessarily buy a bracelet or anything like that. They're not gonna go on any of the rides.
Well, my wife never goes on the rides anyway, it's always me.
And the other thing that I mentioned earlier is the Shriners are putting up a fountain as you walk in through it, the first section past admissions. There's sort of was kind of a blank area there. They showed us the pictures. They've got the well section all done, and the sculpture is really neat. A boy and a girl holding hands is going to be standing up in the middle of the fountain. And yeah, the Shriners are paying for it all, and then the money that's tossed in will go to the Shriners Hospital.
Yeah, it is a little boring when you first
When
come
you
in.
first open.
Yeah.
And also they've gotten what they call the Jolly Trolley, which is the Shriners bus, and it's now on our property. And at our next meeting, we're going to get a ride on it. And it's going to, Bay Ferries is promoting walkers from coming on from St. John, and that the Jolly Trolley will pick them up and then take them back.
is it a trolley?
It looks like a trolley, yeah.
Really?
Linda on
It
it
only
now.
holds 15.
Yeah, you know exactly.
It only holds about 15 people. It's really neat. So.
Will they use it inside the park too, to move people around?
I don't think so. I doubt it. It's fairly big to be kind of driving around when there's people.
Oh,
Yeah, so I don't think they'll do that.
oh, okay.
So we've got lots of new plans, and hopefully things will work out.
Wonderful. The next is police check. Warden Gregory, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
There's been no meeting this month.
Next is the Western Counties Regional Library, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
Meeting in June.
Okay. The next is the Western Regional Enterprise Network Liaison and Oversight Committee, Deputy Warden McAlpine, CEO April Report, Business Plan 2016-2017.
Yeah. They met here, actually, on the same day that I attended the Smart Energy event in Halifax, and I'd given my regrets 2 weeks prior to, and so I wasn't able to attend. Our CAO was able to attend, so maybe, do you have anything you want to add?
Most of the meeting was a presentation from Nova Scotia Business Inc. on their new business plan and strategy. And then the board members had attended that meeting as well. And then they followed up with a meeting here after.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? The next is the Weymouth Doctor Recruiting Committee, Warden Gregory, Counselor Manzer. A press release went out today on us.
Do we still keep that committee, or should we just?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think.
We can leave it for another month or so.
I think what we should do is just meet and say, you know, this is where it is, and let the committee make its own decision. I don't think it's a decision we should be making. It should come from the community. And we should probably meet in June at some point and, you know, make a decision what we're doing.
I only have baked
Valid
goods.
point, valid point. Before I go into the district reports, I did want to say that the spare bus for the municipality of Digby left for the body shop on May the 12th. The bus will be out of service for approximately 6 weeks while it undergoes paint and body work. The project will be paid for by the municipality of Digby's share from the provincial transit funds budgeted for this project. And Wi-Fi, the municipality of Digby Bus is now offering Wi-Fi. The equipment was installed in mid-May and has been working out very well. Customer feedback has been very positive, and we're hoping that that's going to increase. If it works well with us, I know the others are looking at it. So,
Which bus was that? Our old bus?
our old bus,
Yeah, okay.
our old bus is, yeah, not the new bus.
That was the new bus.
No, not for a paint job
No,
already.
No, but the Wi-Fi was put in the new one.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi's in the new one. But it can be in the old one because they just transfer something if they need to. But we're the only ones that have it right now. and it's on a trial. If it doesn't work, it's gone.
Straight into the bag.
Well, no, it goes back to the company. Okay, council district reports. Maritza?
Okay, I attended the Fish and Game Association's annual meeting. It was a potluck dinner. It was very nice. They presented awards to different members. I attended on behalf of the municipality the Battle of the Atlantic service at Cornwallis, laid a wreath on behalf of the municipality. Attended the Relay for Life dessert social for the Brent team. Also went to the Transport to Clare 20th anniversary and Clarendon's retirement. Attended another fundraiser for one of our residents who's suffering from cancer, and attended a 60th anniversary party for Irvin and Arlene Marshall.
Okay, George?
I stopped into the library and did the adopt a book thing. Thought of Jimmy when I did that. Attended the Bear River Indigenous Women event that they held out there a couple of weeks ago. And then Clarendon Robichaud's retirement, and then the 20-year anniversary last Saturday. So that's it.
Okay. David?
3 public meetings in regards to the Ferry Approaches project. Went to an FCDA meeting. The first thing on the agenda was that, so I spoke just to that issue, and I left afterwards. The food bank, the school, I ran out of stuff in the school, lovely school. The kids all got together, and me and Miss O'Neill each had a car full of teenagers, and they went door to door, and now I got lots of food. And they also had a school dance where instead of the $5 or whatever it was, you could donate food to the food bank, which I also very awesome. They have a big box for me now. I was chaperone that. I tend to chaperone those things for the school. I owe them 40 cents. I didn't have quite enough money. Linda Greg will be shocked to hear this. I didn't have quite enough money for my nachos, so I owe them 40 cents. Various fundraisers on the islands for everything from local causes to raising money for Fort McMurray. And I guess I'm going to give a shout out to Claudia Crocker, who entirely on her own put on a lovely potluck dinner and even had live entertainment. About a third of Tiverton showed up. I was super pleased with her, very proud. And CBC was asking me the other day if I had anything to report for the community contact, and I'm going to talk about lovely young Miss Crocker, Claudia. Very cool what she did. So big shout out to her. Maybe I'll bring her a municipal pin of some sort. Why not?
And she raised, what, 2,100? Did I read that somewhere?
No.
1,100?
Yeah, and there was money trickling in afterwards. Yeah, and then of course it's going to be matched by the government via the Red Cross. So really nice for her. I was really pleased with her taking that, and she was very pleased herself. And it's good to see young people realize that they can get things done like that. And it was great. The whole community was proud of her. Seems I talk about Crocker girls doing wonderful things all the time, don't I? They're always up to something good.
Okay.
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, that's everything.
Jimmy?
I attended the Smart Energy event, which I mentioned a few minutes ago. I found it was good. I was only able to take in the one day of the 2-day session because we had council on the Monday. But I took in a session on electric vehicles getting second life storage and like what to do with the batteries out of the vehicles, and because the batteries will last a lot longer than the car ever will. So that was Dr. Lucas Swan was the presenter on that, who's the one that worked on our study for EVs for the municipality, and his father David, he spoke on it as well. Took in a session on getting an update on what's going on with the tidal development in the Minas Basin. you had BlackRock Title and Cape Sharp that both presented where they are on that. And Cape Sharp is supposed to be having turbines going in the water. Well, they said this month, but I think it's now June. But so that's going to happen right soon. And took in a session on preparing a community microgrid, which I found interesting. Another one on trending storage technologies, because those are the things that we need to work on here with the grid the way it is. And there was a keynote luncheon by Gaetan Thomas, who was the president of New Brunswick Power, and he talked about the direction of the utilities going into the future. And I found that interesting because he talked about how they work with Nova Scotia Power and how it's intertwined. And then took in sessions on solar innovations, on solar panels, and the keynote closing with enablers of a renewable energy plan. So it was a really full day, but it was a really interesting day, and got a lot out of it. And I think we're, as a municipality, going down the right path with our renewable projects, and I think we're a step ahead of most other municipalities in this province. Then on the 27th to the 29th of April, I attended the Canadian Waste Resource Symposium, where I found that to be interesting as well, where you had people from across Canada attend. Where the event was in Halifax, I felt it was good to go to. One of the key sessions that I took away from it was the fact that where I sit on our EMO as well, our Regional Emergency Measures, there was a session on what do you do, how do you handle your waste issues after a disaster. And there was some people there that spoke on this and what they did in Alberta and Ontario and down in the United States. And I took away from that the fact that where I'm on the EMO and I'm also on the Solid Waste Commission, we've got to come up with some type of a policy or put something together on not if it happens, but when it happens, because I think it's pretty safe to say that disasters are going to happen everywhere. We're not going to be immune to disasters in this area, but it's a matter of trying to be prepared. And so I took that away from there, and I thought that was something of interest. And I had asked the gentleman from the United States to forward me information on what they do down there with their policies and procedures, and which he's supposed to send me the links to their website. I haven't received it yet, but I'm going to do a follow-up on that. Then on the April 30th, I went to Bear River. They had a really nice welcoming event for the new Syrian family that the residents in the Bear River community had sponsored. And there was a really good turnout that night, and it was nice to see that young family and their children. And they're very, very grateful to be here. And I can't say enough about what the community's done to try to support them. They're 100% behind them.
I heard he's a Mason or something like that. Am I right in that?
They didn't say that there that night.
Oh, okay.
Different family. I think there's 3 Syrian families, or there's 2 for sure. The third one's coming, or I'm not sure if it's here yet or not. But
Ours coming June 6th.
okay, that's the third one.
Good.
That's the third group, or third family, I should say. And then also, I attended the spring workshop of the UNSM, which I felt good to go to. I think that whenever you get together with your colleagues around the province and talk about different issues, and then they had the Rural Caucus meeting there, it was good and it was well attended. On May 7th, I attended Councillor Ken Langel's funeral in Yarmouth. Ken was a member of the library board, and I felt fitting to attend his funeral. And then on May 10th, I also attended the Bear River First Nations session on honoring our sisters, and that was sponsored by the Women's Place Resource Center and the Bear River First Nations, and they did an awesome job. And one of the things that I really took away from it is that they had these little badges made up that they asked you to wear, and it had one of the ladies that had been murdered, and it put a name and a face to, it wasn't just a statistic. So it really made you think more about what their situations were and what they went through. And I want to acknowledge that we need to, Wanda Finnegan did a great job in putting this together and pulling a committee together to work on this. And, they brought in students from Yarmouth all the way up to, I think it was West Hants or East Hants. And so it was a really, really good event. And then on the 14th, I attended the celebration for Clarenton as well, and I also feel that Clarenton, through his leadership and his devotion and perseverance, he really is the one that drove that community bus service, and actually he drove the model for the whole province, and it was a nice event, and I thought there was quite a few people there from the community. May 15th, I attended the Epilepsy Association of Nova Scotia's 5 kg run walk. I'm going to say run walk because I didn't run it, but I did walk it. And it was a nice event that the first time they've held it here, and it's an annual event. They're going to continue to do it. And it was great for raising funds for the association, but also to show awareness. And then last week I went over to the police station for the police week where they had their barbecue, and I dropped in there. That's it.
Okay. Last month has been really busy. I attended the Solid Waste Conference, and that was really interesting. It talked about what's happening around Canada, along our province. Our province is still the leader in solid waste. We are forefronted. Though I had to smile to myself in one session when HRM said, a couple of years ago we went to clear bags and, blah, blah, and I was thinking we've been doing that for years. But, it was an interesting conference. Actually, Deputy Warden McAlpine attended as well.
Yeah, I spoke on it.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you.
Canadian Waste Symposium.
Oh, okay. That's why I called it Solid Waste Conference. I attended the UNSM Spring Conference, which it was very interesting. I had the opportunity to meet with first and second year medical students that came to look at our area, and it was a very nice evening talking with them. There was no pressure. I mean, they're only first and second year, but gives them the opportunity to see what we're like here. I also went to the hiking summit and gave greetings. Went to the Fish and Game later that evening for their awards dinner, and that was well done. We also, I also had the opportunity to teach the RCMP some first aid updates. And I explained to them that every Monday there had to give me 5 get out of jail free cards because I deserved it because I was teaching them. So that made, there was others there, but there was 6 main ones. So they gave me my own little certificate with get out of free card. So they said that, I should keep that with me at all times. And then there's my other little cards that make up the 30 that I can use. They said they did not guarantee if they'd be accepted anywhere by anyone, but I could try. So I thought that was very nice of them. I think Corporal Lewis had a lot to do with that, but I will not say for sure. We also had a meeting that Linda and I attended with the Health Foundation, the town of Digby, and ourselves, with Joanne McKinnon with the physician recruitment. It was a meeting. I was not impressed. And I think I said I was not impressed, but, benefits. I also attended the event for honoring missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Bear River, and I agree with you, Wanda did an excellent job. We were really pleased with that. I attended the 20th anniversary as well, and the Atlantic Mayor's Congress. Otherwise, been a quiet month.
Yeah.
Just a few extra meetings and people.
Lots of spare time.
Just spare time. So I would say if there's nothing else to add, that we will pause for a few minutes to give people time so we can go into, just a minute, before we go into in camera. Before we do that, is there any questions from the gallery?
Is the Wi-Fi passwords changed here for any question that we?
No, it's 902-245-4777, but it's council mod. I found that out the other day.
Me
'cause
too.
It didn't work for me. Yeah, 902-245-4777.
Oh, I stretch my legs.
Yours didn't work, I take it, tonight.
No, but I can wait around it.
Oh,
Hacked.
that sounds nice.
We don't know.
Could be charged.
We didn't hear that.
Would someone like to move that we'll be going in camera?
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Is Pat staying?
She's staying for part of it.
Okay.
Terry